leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. Who's chasing the beer? The circle the lips, play ball. Play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laughter Saves Lives
Live
here on Strong Island Television, Paradise Studios in beautiful
downtown Massapequa.
Uptown, downtown, all around
Uptown.
Massapequa.
We'll change it to uptown.
Yeah, we're back. A week later, another week with Rich Walker. We're on a roll.
This is it's like
It's
a
like
godsend.
This is like the Mets. The Mets won 3 in a row, 3 weeks with Richie. Beautiful, beautiful. So good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm lucky I'm alive after playing pickle.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. We got a whole pickleball segment
By
now.
the way, today's show is brought to us by
who was it?
Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community.
Yes, Barasch and McGarry are across the screen. Bam! There they are.
Look at that.
Lawyers and Patrick McDonald. It's Johnny Plug time. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Every week, Patrick is on a streak.
Yeah.
You know, like Cal Ripken had the hit streak or the game streak. I'm sorry. Patrick, 89 shows in a row.
Unbelievable.
Just made up that number.
Look at that. I like.
Just made up that number.
It's about right.
Yeah. So a few things I wanted to talk about before we get to our new, exciting pickleball segment. We're not there yet.
Nope.
No, not there yet. Don't say anything.
Yes.
I got a new phone.
You did. What kind did you get?
I switched
in
to
a fancy wallet.
I switched to T-Mobile.
Good.
I have Verizon for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Switched to T-Mobile, and listen to this kid, salesman, nice kid. I forget his name now. Lewis, very nice guy, right over here. I go in there and just to get prices. I'm going to check on prices, right? So I go in there, Lewis. Here's the deal. Here's what I got. I brought him the bill, and he says to me, "Well, why don't you bring your wife and your daughter over here now? We'll get it done." I go, Lewis, I've been waiting to do this for 4 years. We're going to do it. So I get them over there, right? I get my wife and my cute little 22-year-old daughter, right?
Is this at a T-Mobile store?
T-Mobile store.
Is it the direct store or is it a sub?
Oh, Rich, this doesn't mean
go
the
ahead.
story. It's not going to affect the story.
Okay, go ahead.
You want me to find out?
No.
Yeah, wait, let's look him up. We'll call him. So anyway, so the kid, he's working. He goes, John, I got you done. And he says to me, Mr. LaRocchia, we're pretty much almost there. You and your wife can, if you want to leave, because he knew I was impatient. I told him could leave and to finish with your daughter. I go, Lewis, right in front of me. You want my cute 22-year-old daughter to hang out here with you alone, and you want me to leave? You son of a gun, Lewis. I know what you're doing. Yes. And he got all red and he looked at me and he goes, I can't argue with that.
That's good.
I said, all right, I respect that.
Just your speed.
So we got the new phones. I got a big problem.
Oh,
everybody who follows me on Facebook is going to understand what I'm about to say because I'm ADHD. What are we both? We're like ADHD, right? You see some of my posts, the spelling in some of my posts. Am I right?
A little rushed.
The text message is not coming up with a spell check.
You could set that.
Oh, I got to find out how.
All
right, you show me. All right, you show me?
Yeah.
All right, good. My son hates when
let me ask you a question since I'm the one who's been telling you. I know, but I can be part of this. I'm the one who's been telling you for 6 years to switch to
Yes,
T-Mobile.
you have. Yes, you have.
Which did you get a Samsung phone? Like I said,
it's that important to the story.
It's Samsung.
Of course it is.
I got a Samsung. Yeah, Samsung 23 or 123. Hike.
A23.
Something like that.
S23. So it's very easy to do.
Beautiful.
Very easy to do. Great phone.
Yes.
All right. So now I got to cut out another story because we took too much time on that one. Summer to you, Richie. Summer to you.
Yes.
Fresh mozzarella with the tomatoes. I'll build my whole summer around that.
Yes.
Everything else is gravy. I get the fresh mozz. They're growing tomatoes like animals in the garden, my wife and my daughter. That looks like it'll be a good season.
Yeah.
One thing that means summer to you. What comes and you go, it's summer.
The pool is opened.
Oh, your pool in your community?
It doesn't matter. Everybody's pool is open.
Everybody's pool is open. Which the other night we had a pool party.
It doesn't matter Samsung.
Right.
Any pool.
Right. We had a pool party.
Yes.
After.
I
You know what?
know,
Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. You ready back there? We're gonna do our first time our new Let's Talk Pickleball.
So I finally get talked into
That was
playing.
Bobby who made that.
That's great, Bobby.
Nice job,
Great
Bobby.
Job. It's hysterical.
Yeah. So let's talk pickleball. So
I wish my story was as exciting as that intro into it. But so I get invited down to play with John, Les Bayer, his lovely daughter Olivia.
My daughter was there.
Les
again,
Deegan, Les Bayer.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of their friends.
Yeah, people were down there. So Rich Walker hasn't played with us in a while. We're excited to see you. We love Rich Walker.
Yeah.
Here he comes, Mr. Athletic.
Right. With my new paddle, graphite, the whole thing. And but now I'm a little cocky because I'm playing against.
Hey, Melissa. I'm sorry. I'm fans. I love Melissa.
I show up guys that don't really look athletic, and I'm like, wait until you see me play. But I gotta tell you, it was me and Olivia against Les Bayer and John Santo,
right?
And Les.
And John
Bayer.
Santo was very out of shape. We say that on every show.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say it on the pickleball court because these guys.
No, it's a running joke.
Oh, I got it. We're like madmen out there, like
Johnny L. Too. Johnny L. Too.
Johnny L. on the other court. I saw him over there.
All right.
I knew I did not want you to challenge us. So we're about 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And John Santo hits a ball like a lightning bolt. I am backing up. I'm coming. And I literally tripped over my own 2 feet, went down on my elbow, up into the shoulder, whacked my hand. I couldn't even feel my hand. I didn't want to tell you guys
911.
that.
911.
But the best part of the story, so now I'm down for the count. I knocked the wind out of me.
Right.
Haven't fallen maybe since I was 15 years old.
It was brutal.
Like that.
It was brutal.
So
we got to stop playing.
I am with now Mr. Fireman.
First aid. And what does he do? Walk it off.
Olivia, get the kit.
Go get the first aid kit.
Get the first aid.
I'm up 3 points.
You didn't want to let that go.
No.
So she treated my wound.
Yes.
And everybody went back to playing.
Except for Richie. He was done. 10 minutes
that wasn't
done.
That exciting. Let's go back to the pickleball logo. That was
you know what? Can we do the logo one more time? Since it's new?
It's like I'm at a Ducks game.
I love that.
Comes up
I love that.
After the home run.
In Richie's story, he fell down.
Yeah.
2 days before that, I took a tumble also.
On
my front lawn. I'm cleaning my pool cover. I soak it with soap. Hello, my lawn goes down like this. Now I start brushing it with the water, and I realize it's slippery. But I didn't realize it was slippery until I started to slip. So I did one of these with my legs. Whoa! Up in the air. Knee, hip in the concrete. Hip, bam, shoulder, head hits the concrete. 2 days later, where is he?
Pickleball.
Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. He was back.
Me, I'm not
that was scary. That was scary.
Oh, what did Melissa say?
Want to hear a funny story?
True sign of friendship. Just walk it off.
Just walk it off,
yes.
right? Melissa, she knows.
She does.
Melissa, do you play pickleball? Join us, please. We play right in Merrick. I think you live near there. So this is a funny, cute story, a summer story.
Yes.
True story. Block party the other day. I'm not going to use any names, but there's a kid of Vincent's age, right? Vincent's 7 years old, and my son is at this block party.
Yeah.
And the ice cream truck pulls up.
Oh, yeah.
But he's just pulling up because he's smart. He sees a lot of kids.
Right.
A block party. So he pulls up. So this couple gets in front first with their child, and this young boy walks up by himself. And my son knows him.
Yeah.
And he's in my grandson's class. He walks up by himself, and my son walks up with Vincent behind him. And my son's going, I don't think he has money. Like, he just walked up.
Right.
Because the truck pulled right. He goes, I don't think he really has money.
Right,
so my son in his head is going, I'll pay for the kid. I know him. Nice. My son's a good boy, right?
Right.
So the kid, I think at one point then realized he had no money.
Right.
So he didn't want to leave the line, so he stuck his head at the couple in front of him, and he said this, "Hey, I'm going to order with you." Is that beautiful? It is that beautiful. And they went, "Oh yeah, sure.
Smart kid.
Oh, smart kid.
So,
And he got his ice cream.
you're thinking I'm off the hook
Got his ice cream.
for buying a $6 ice cream.
Yes, I didn't bring the cards. My son did a great job coaching the baseball team this year, and I was brought on as like the bench coach, like the old guy who coached years ago. You know, has a lot of different. Yeah, so I was coaching first base, and 2 kids wrote me cute little Dunkin' Donuts thing. Big John, they call me Big John. Thanks for the season and all the wonderful tips. Wow. Nice, right? Very cute. Nice. So my daughter has the Dunkin' Donuts card. I didn't
more
see
appreciation than you get from this show.
Really? Yeah. Especially from Butch. Yeah, I get nothing. Okay. I have an announcement.
Yes, tell them.
Have an announcement. Yeah. Looks like September 15th. Laughter Saves Lives pickleball fundraiser out in Sayville Pickleball Hall. More information to come. Wow. About 35 people we can fit. I don't know what we'll charge yet. I'm looking at about $65 for the night, a fundraiser.
That sounds
It
nice.
should be lots of fun. Rich Walker, not invited. Not invited. No, you can come. You can sit on the cushiony chair. They have a nice cushioned chair there. And you could just make comments and make fun of people.
I could bring a folding chair, too.
That would be good. Bring a check. Good. We're going to have fun 50-50. Dinner. Summer dinners. Summer loving. Had me a blast. That pickleball thing has me so pumped.
You love it.
But do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
And you know what? Bobby made it.
And I think
we really got to love it because he's excited about it. You know what I'm saying? Could you? My wife is like, she's on this. Oh, I shouldn't say this.
What?
That's bad. Okay. Because I was going to give away. My wife eats. She's been eating very good the last few months.
Yeah.
So a dinner to her may be like a little cottage cheese with a cracker, a little hummus. Now, before I left the house, I had some hummus and crackers. And I was saying in my head, I'm going, this is going to be my dinner. I can do this.
Yeah.
I can eat like this. I want to keep this weight the way it is or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Did you see me walking with the Taco Bell bag?
Yes.
3 tacos. So I didn't make it 10 minutes from my house.
You're starving.
I'm like, not only, it's here. Is that a dinner? Is hummus and chips and few olives?
For some people, yes.
Yes, but I couldn't do it.
No.
You? Can you get away without eating a dinner?
I'm heading to Qdoba after this.
That's great. So is there anything else you want to add before we go to our first break?
Yes, whatever Butch wants to add.
Well, we're bringing
you want to add 2 more things, don't you, John?
You're right. All right, big day. Thank you, Butch. See, every once in a while, Butch comes on and we go, thank God. Yeah. That's like, what?
Every now and then,
once
even a blind pig hits the bond.
Yes. Jack Clunin, our comedy friend, today is the 28th anniversary of his 3rd transplant.
Thank God.
Now, I said to Butch, what was the 3rd transplant? We're a little confused. If it was the liver, if it was the kidney, if we're good friends with him, we don't friggin' know. That's ridiculous. But Jack is amazing. FDNY EMS now. I call him the kid. He's been through everything.
Right.
And bravery to get on stage with his act. Oh, that is true bravery. Jack Clunin, we love you, buddy. Happy anniversary. And also our other transplant friend who are training for the pickleball games.
Yeah.
The Atlanta transplant games. Jennifer Latini just had an anniversary.
Wow.
I think it was 18 years since her heart transplant.
Amazing.
It's amazing knowing these people. It's a blessing. So we're going to go to break now. And when we come back, we're going to bring up Linda Marcus Smith, Army veteran and comic.
If you spent time downtown on 9/11 or in the 8 months after, you were exposed to toxic air and may be eligible for compensation from the $10 billion 9/11 Victim Fund. But most people who qualify still haven't claimed what they're entitled to.
I worked downtown. I didn't die. I was an office worker. I felt like there were others who deserved the money more than I did.
A major reason people haven't claimed the money they're due is guilt. They feel guilty claiming funds when others died or were first responders.
I heard there were 9/11 funds, but because I wasn't a first responder, I did not apply.
You do not have to be a first responder to qualify. This fund was created for everyone who worked, lived, or attended school south of Canal Street, who may have experienced or have experienced respiratory illness or any of the 68 cancers linked to the toxins. Even if you have a family history of cancer, there is a presumption linking most cancers to the toxins.
I thought it was too late to make a claim. My spouse worked downtown at a bank and died of cancer. Honestly, I just haven't felt up to it.
The government's $10 billion Victim Fund and Health Program have been permanently extended. You just need to have been below Canal Street on 9/11 or at any time in the following 8 months. To see if you qualify, call or go to 911fund.com to speak to a representative of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community.
There are many reasons people who are eligible for compensation are not stepping up to claim it. To those who are holding back, I would say just take the first step. Ask for help. Make the call. It's not too late.
I called and I qualified.
I qualify.
I qualify.
Millions of dollars remain unclaimed. You do not have to be seriously ill to qualify.
And we're back. A few quickies before we
With
bring out
laughter
Lin-
saves lives.
Oh yeah,
You totally forgot.
Let's see something. We'd like to thank a new viewer, Helen Witt.
Helene.
Helene, and both
Witt.
of them. Helen is watching, and Helene.
And Helene.
Witt.
Helene yells
New
at me
viewer.
because I always
New
go,
viewer. In
I
fact,
say Helene, and that's not right.
she's number
Helene.
viewer number 10,000. She
Wow.
She
Look
gets
at that.
she gets to stay with Linda Marcus Smith as a
I
prize.
know Helene is
Yes.
watching, but I recently saw her do comedy.
Yes.
I was very impressed, and she is a pro. You have to have her on at the end. Not this show, but in the future, we'll got your name and we'll have you on.
A few quickies. July 27th, looks like we're going to be South Jersey, Old Movies by the Sea Theater. We're going to be at Idaho Falls Heroes Defense Fund September 8th. I'm going out there and I'm emceeing their event the next day. It's a fundraiser for some 9/11 charities. Kent Fire Department in Kent, Ohio, where the famous Kent shooting was in the college, Kent State University. Richie and I are going to go out. We're driving out.
Look at that.
Driving out. We're going to raise some
Road
money.
trip.
We're gonna buy some kids some coats and
That's
shoes
nice.
through this organization for the winter.
Yep.
Mondays at Racine, Friday, September 29th. That is at the Loft. That is at the Loft. That I think
Right
you're
here
on
in
that,
Belmore.
I think you're on that show.
I am. So come down and see
So those
that
are some
one.
of the shows. One more. October 7th, Jersey, Antique Fire Association.
Yeah.
With our friend Chef Tom. We're going to be raising money. They bought an old fire truck, turned it into a canteen. They're going to feed firefighters at fires for free. Let's bring out our next guest. This young lady, she's amazing. She is a veteran of the Army and a comic and a friend of ours. Had a beautiful conversation on the phone with her today. Let's welcome Linda Marcus Smith to the show. There's applause. There's people going
There's that
crazy.
smile.
Hey, Linda.
Hi, how are you two today? So
Good.
great.
We're a little. What are we, Richie?
Sore.
We both fell down in the last few days, but we're doing all right.
Oh my
We're doing
gosh.
all right. Yeah.
So let me say one thing about Linda.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Linda. This
Don't be
is
sorry.
a woman
Yes.
that doesn't stop.
I agree.
She travels all over the country. She's performing everywhere.
Anybody
Amazing.
who wants to get into the comedy business and really learn, follow what this woman has done. She is constantly out there doing good stuff for veterans, doing shows, and she's a sweetheart. And what an attitude. I've been following Linda for a few years now, and we had a nice conversation on the phone today. But she's a proud Army veteran.
Yeah, wow.
Talk about your service for a minute. Tell us a little bit about your service, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for what you do for the fallen firemen and firemen everywhere and children. I know I don't look like it, but I was in the military, and I know it divides the room because some people think, well, a woman, But I did. I wanted to serve my country. And I got so lucky because I'm a little bit Jewish and they put me in Germany. How lucky can you get?
Isn't that the way?
And what was your job in the? Don't blow out too much of your comedy material because you're closing the show. Remember, doing comedy. Tell us about what your task was, because there's all different things that have to be done in the military.
I know. They tried to get me to march, and
right.
That's fine. But the lady next to me had dyslexia, so she kept messing up my game, and she kept running into me. But they decided that they would put me in Germany, and since I'm a little Jewish, they would just have me count money for 3 years. That's what I did. I counted money.
And where was this money coming from?
So like soldiers would get money in the field in number 6 paper bags, millions of cash dollars.
Really?
In paper bags. And
But
whatever
who would be paying them this money? Who would be paying them this money?
Is this something we should know? You.
I would be paying them in a cage. They would come to the cage twice a month.
Oh, you're paying salaries out.
Yeah, cash salary in the 70s.
What, in cash?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to have an armed guard, and I had to wear a 45 at all times.
Wow.
And money was going out in paper bags.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
That's amazing. And how long did you serve, Linda?
3 years.
3 years. All right. So you get out of the military, and then what is your first endeavor after the military?
Well, I was a banker before the military, and then I went in and I was in a finance office. So I came back out and went back into banking and finished up 24 years of banking.
Wow, look at you.
24 years. And then when did you retire? I'm not trying to figure out your age, Linda. That's not what I'm doing. But how long ago did you retire? See, I insulted her. She froze. Oh, babe, how long ago did you retire?
I've been out of banking since 1987.
Wow.
I worked my way up from safe deposits and tellering all the way to corporate trainer and career developer.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Wow, so you were valuable. Let me say one thing.
Please say a lot of things.
My wife was a banker as well, and she went and applied for the railroad, and immediately they hired her. Because of the banking, on the Long Island Railroad, it's all cash.
And she pays Richie in cash too.
Yeah, I get a salary.
Yeah,
I get a allowance
in bags.
Yeah,
I've run bags
in a paper bag.
Bags. All right, so you're out of the military.
Yeah.
At one point, you decide, let me do some comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you make that decision?
My whole life, I watched comedians, and I always aspired to be a traveling comedian, go around everywhere you could go, like Bob Hope, and make military laugh. But I never did anything about it. And one day, my daughter and I went our separate ways. That's a long story. And that day, I really didn't want to live without my daughter. Right. So I called the comedy club and I said, how'd you like to save my life? Speaking of laughter saving lives, laughter has saved my life because I can make other people laugh, and that helps my pain.
That's great.
Well, I have to say, I can feel just talking to you that you're sincere and huggable. I just want to hug you right now. I love your story.
Yeah, it's true. And I've been with T-Mobile for a while too, and like your daughter, I'm in my early 20s. It's just that I've turned 21 3 times and then some.
Can I ask her to tell
you could ask her
favorite
anything.
Story?
Yes.
I know Butch hates it when I say, can I ask a question?
That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. Tell us what happened at the Golden Nugget, briefly.
The Golden Nugget?
In Las Vegas. She lives in Vegas. That's her home.
That's right.
So, back in the MySpace, okay, I have to start at the beginning.
Just
I'm at the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas in the 90s, and I'm at the VIP booth. And they have a little TV VCR combo up on there, and I'm watching clips on a loop of David Brenner over and over on stage. reading articles out of the newspaper and making people die laughing. And I'm just like mesmerized what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I keep watching him. All of a sudden, somebody from over here taps me on this shoulder. I haven't washed it since. It's David Brenner.
Wow.
And he says, "Hey, how do you like that guy in the video?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, you're the last of the great Jewish comedians." Because, you know, a lot of the great Jewish comedians passed away, and then there was David Brenner.
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
that's a great story. So now, when I first met you or started following you, I didn't realize you were a stand-up comic. You were interviewing some very well-known comics. You had almost like a series of interviews, right? How many comics did you interview?
Ooh.
Come on, Linda. Come on, Linda.
Oh, she's
here
frozen.
she comes. How many comics did you interview, Linda?
1,044.
Wow. All right. Can I ask you who your favorite was? Is that a fair question? Because you did interview me, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Took me out.
You were the 1,044.
45th. She took me out. I was the 1,004. She didn't even include me. Take me out because that's.
I was even interviewed.
Take Richie out. Take Richie out. Who was your favorite comic other than Richie and I?
Other than us.
Yeah.
It was Sinbad because they had the Floyd murder, and 2 days later I was supposed to interview Sinbad, and he didn't want to.
Right.
And I told him, everybody's expecting you. And we just talked for 41 minutes about racism in America. We broke it down.
Right.
Wow.
Really got into it.
Wow.
Sinbad.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a very hard question. Put Richie and I back in the list. Who's your favorite comic? No, no, that's not fair. That's not fair. All right, so 2 AFE tours to the troops that were canceled. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
AFE?
I got somebody vouched for me, and I got a text, but it was buried inside of my text. By the time I had responded that my opportunity was canceled, it was too late. And the second time I got told, "Hey, we had a cancellation, grab your passport and let's go." And then the whole thing got canceled. So I haven't been able to go yet, but I've been invited twice.
I would like to do something like that.
Like me on John's shows. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah, Richie gets canceled a lot.
Yeah.
Richie's a big time comic. Big time comic. So, we have about 2 minutes, and then you're going to come back later. Don't go anywhere.
For the funny.
Yeah. Tell us one more story you can give us about a comic you interviewed that you walked away from it and were touched, moved, or, just.
Okay, so I interviewed Tommy Chong.
Okay.
And he not only is he funny and real and authentic, he's also very philosophical. Like, I've been with him for 5.5, 6 hours, where he goes off on tangents that are so smart, and I just love it. So he's like a guru and a rabbi all rolled up in a ball, and when you get him going, he don't want to stop. And his wife doesn't like him to do it, but I do. So he was talking about comedy and how this and that. And I said, I'm riddled with pain 24 hours a day, Tommy. But when I'm doing comedy, I don't feel any pain. And the reason I love it is because of his philosophical answer. He said, because when you're making other people laugh and forget their pain, you're as close to God as you're going to get this side of heaven.
That. Wow.
Love it.
I had the honor of seeing when he was Cheech and Chong live at Westbury Music Fair.
Oh, yeah?
I was like 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go to break now, and we're going to bring Linda back in a little while. Hang out. All right, Linda?
I'll hang out. Thanks, guys.
Linda Marcus Smith. She'll be back in a little while. We're going to go to break.
Hi, I'm Arthur Lee, founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeVac, a simple rescue device that can save a child's life in a choking emergency. All these people were saved with LifeVac.
People may not realize that on average, 14 people a day die from choking-related incidents. Every 5 days, one of those is a child.
As simple as place, push, pull.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
And we're back after the quick break there. We want to make sure we pronounce Suhari right when we bring him on. We're very concerned.
Yeah, well, we didn't even need to announce it unless we did it wrong.
So you're thinking Suhari. So we want to pronounce that right. We're very professional here, so we're going to pronounce that right. So next guests are two directors. We don't have on a lot of directors.
Great. No.
You know, but this movie really impressed me. It's called Odd Hours, No Pay, Cool Hat.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting story. I think I have the outline here. It's Odd Hours, No Pay, Cool Hat. It takes viewers into the heart of the volunteer fire service. Wow. And the volunteer fire service around the country is very different no matter where, in different parts. By an extension of the journey through many facets of America, locations like California's wild wine country, a small Nebraska farming community, and an Orthodox Jewish enclave of New York set at the backdrop of a series of stories about service, personal growth, and finding purpose. Together, they convey the depth, diversity, and critical role volunteer fire departments play across America. And in Long Island, especially, we're all volleys out here. Yeah. At a fragile and fractured point in our history, this film offers hope and optimism and reminds us that we are all in this together. Please, let's bring a nice warm welcome for the two directors, Gary Matasso and Karen Zuhari.
Close enough.
Hold on one second.
You butchered my name. You guys butchered my name, but that's okay.
That was so beautifully read, John. But don't we have the trailer for the movie?
Oh, we want to watch it?
Butch, I want to give them full, you know what I'm saying? A whole explanation. Then we're going to run the trailer.
Then we'll go the trailer.
That's what the trailer does.
All right, we'll do that.
Just watch the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gary, and thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks you. Appreciate it.
So we're gonna watch the trailer.
Hold on, let the co-host decide when we're gonna watch the trailer. All right,
we already brought them on. Now we have to watch the trailer after. We can't snub them standing there.
They look
guys, are you okay if we watch the trailer so everybody gets what you've done?
You're not going to get involved. You guys.
Let's watch the trailer.
Let's watch the trailer. Unbelievable.
I can't sit there and hear the siren go off and me not to be able to do something.
You just have to be ready to run.
You know, you have someone's life in your hands.
We have to protect our communities because if we don't, who will?
For those of you that have trouble chewing bubble gum and walking at the same time, it's going to take some work.
I thought that I was just joining to be like the note taker.
On your mark, get set, go.
Then I get there and they're like, oh, no, you're the people doing it. Oh my God, like that's me.
Volunteer fire departments are the core of the community.
We do anything. They'll call the fire department for anything.
There's a lot of towns that don't have fire department for 40 miles. Matter of minutes is life and death. I mean, matter of seconds.
I woke up to my room completely filled with smoke. It's hard to imagine that a home was here.
I don't care how tired you are. This is what we're called to do. Help people, find them, save them.
We went through hell together.
You see the ugliness of people, you see the beautifulness of people.
There's only so many of us. How do you keep a town alive?
He handed me a piece of paper and he said, fill this out. We have a meeting Wednesday night. My husband said, where have you been? I said, I think I joined the fire department.
Wow. Very impressive.
No pay, cool hat.
Now I get the title.
Why, guys? Whose idea was this? Why?
Why the film or why the name?
What? No, I understand the name. Why? Whose idea was it for the film?
Actually, it was our executive producer, a guy named Peter Yoakum, who was just kind of traveling around and got very interested and passionate about the volunteer fire service. And he had lots of conversations with chiefs and firefighters, and just got very deep into the story. And I think he just became convinced that, that this was a story that needed to be told, and that people just didn't really realize, the kind of the scope and the breadth of the service and how critical, they are to communities across the country.
Yeah.
So then he contacted us, and we helped kind of put some shape to the idea of doing a film, and then we made the film.
Any experience either of you gentlemen being a volley or a family member who is a volley?
No, none. Yeah, none of the immediate crew on the film actually had any real connection to the volunteer fire service. So it was a learning lesson for us, for sure. And that was honestly one of the amazing things was as soon as we started talking about it and letting people know we were working on this film, how many people did have connections to the volunteer fire service that we were talking. It was so often that someone would say, "Oh yeah, my uncle's a volunteer," or "I used to volunteer," or whatever. So we really started to realize just how how the tendrils of the volunteer fire service really are everywhere. So even though we didn't have that experience, and we had a lot of lessons to learn along the way.
It must have been like, this is unbelievable what you're seeing.
It was, yeah. I mean, I think we were interested. Obviously, this is as an interesting story. Just when, but I think the deeper we got into it, especially during the casting process, because we put out a casting call, we were looking for stories, and we had like over 800 submissions that came in within like week or two. And so we just had all these people who were sharing their stories and, just incredible stories of, of just passion for the fire service,
right?
Family tradition, stories about lives that were changed, or it was amazing. And I think that, we just kind of kept falling in love with the story, the deeper we got into it, it was really a lot of fun to make it.
I just wanted to point out Melissa Ielpi. I worked with her brother in the FDOI. He was lost on 9/11. He was also a volunteer assistant chief. A lot of you would think, oh, it's enough. People like that, especially in Long Island, amazing that not only are they a firefighter, paid firefighter, they come home and they're volunteers and move up the ranks. So thank you for that, Melissa.
Yeah.
These are people, I don't think the average person understands. This could be somebody who's on their day off or on their night in between, going to work, and leaves their home at midnight. They got to be up maybe at 6 a.m. to respond to an EMS call or a fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. In some cases, it was people doing overnight shifts, like you said, like at 5 o'clock, they get off their job and then they're on the clock until 6 a.m. the next day, responding to calls, nonstop in some cases in the busier areas. So, and they're doing that, in between school and work and whatever it might be.
And I have to,
they love it. That's the other thing. So they all love it. That's the thing.
They do.
I think this is part of it, Gary. I think this is part of it that it's, I don't want to call it a boys club because there's men and women.
There's a camaraderie.
There's a camaraderie there. And some of these kids who become, they're like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm hanging around with people my age. Now they join the volunteer fire department and they're getting directed by people who are older for the first time. They're like working with them, so to speak. Yeah. And these are people who are in all different walks of life, right? Because they're volunteer firefighters who they can learn from and hopefully maybe turn their life around.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more of it than just responding to fires or EMS. There's that, like Richie said, that camaraderie that is awesome.
Definitely. I mean, that's really the big purpose of the film was to kind of highlight, the different motivations and why people do this, and to hope to encourage other people, inspire other people to maybe sign up. But it's kind of like what you said in the beginning. It's just so different in every part of the country. We ended up going to 8 locations. The stories that you talked about there in the beginning, and I think we originally thought we were only going to do 3 stories, but we just realized you just couldn't tell the full story in 3 stories. We ended up going to lots of different locations. Yeah.
It's amazing. You could actually. This could become like a TV show, like that just keeps going. I mean, the stories are endless.
Yeah.
I know
it's you guys. I don't think made the decision, but I was honored. They asked me to moderate the screening of the film. 3 in Manhattan, 1 in Huntington, 1 I think up in Pleasant View, New York, and then the 2 LA ones. They said no, not you, but. Other than that, it's going to be exciting, and I look for. Now, you guys are going to be there, obviously.
Yeah, we're flying out tomorrow.
Good. I look forward to meeting with you and hanging with you, and bringing you for a good slice of pizza, maybe.
There you go. All right. Thank you for doing that too. We appreciate that.
Oh no, it's
no. They know him at the pizza place.
Yeah, they know me at the pizza.
So yeah, the film will be in New York City for this coming weekend, and then in LA after that. So we've got a couple weeks of screenings, and then it'll be available later on in the summer on streaming services as well. So.
Beautiful.
I actually would like to ask you guys: is this your first film?
It's our first feature film. Yeah,
wow.
We've been working together. We have a production company. We're out in the Seattle area, so we've been making films together for a long time. But this is our first feature. So that was
Wow, that must be very
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. Can you give us another story that hit you from whether it's in the movie or not? That's somebody that you met while doing this.
I mean, one that always comes to mind for me, because it was just such an unexpected discovery along the way, was we were filming at a department down in Virginia, in rural Virginia, and one of the members of the department had actually opened up her home just to host us, actually, so that we could have a place to stay while we were filming. And when we got there, we learned that she was herself a EMT and ran an ambulance, but she was a 70-year-old grandmother as well. And so we realized that was going to be a pretty great story to tell. So as we got to know her, we couldn't resist. So there's a little piece on her in the film as well, and she has some pretty cool scenes in there. But she's quite a character. Yeah.
And on the other hand, we've got stories about 16-year-olds who are serving in Wheaton, Maryland. I mean, so you just really have this full range of ages, and I think what you were talking about, the ages and the kind of
bond and
the interaction between people. It's just like you don't see that every day in society now. And
right.
It really was something that we wanted to highlight in the film.
Yeah.
And the New York story as well is a fascinating one. That takes place in Muncie, New York, and it's a Hasidic Jewish community for the most part. And that story is really about how they were able to eventually welcome Hasidic firefighters into their ranks, and the first Hasidic firefighter there. So it's a pretty fascinating story.
That is impressive. Yeah.
So you did all these cities, you made the movie. Now, there is an issue, am I right? Tell me if I'm right, with volunteerism. Is that the right word? Volunteerism going a bit down. Yes?
That's true.
Yeah, but it's a double whammy, because the call volumes are going up, essentially over years, and then the numbers of volunteers are declining, and they're aging. So it's aging. So this film, I mean, it's directed at everybody. I think we wanted, again, the reason we did so many stories is we want lots of different people to see themselves and like, oh, I could, I'm retired. Or young people, but we really young people. I think people of color, people who aren't, maybe necessarily associate themselves or but think of themselves being a volunteer firefighter. We really wanted them to see themselves in this film, as well.
What do you attribute the numbers going down? I mean, like, I remember I have friends that are volunteer firemen, but I mean, they were young kids when they joined, used to be able to drink at the fire department, have the beers in the back and the parties, and they took care of the guys. Do you think that it's no longer like they're seeing it as a hangout? I'm sure a lot of people go in and they know it's serious business when they're going in, but they really don't realize it until they're in there going, holy crap, I'm responsible for this house fire and I have to do something, right? Or what is it? What do you think it is the reason why it's dropping?
I mean, I think there are people who maybe have that realization after they do it, but I think that's always been true, probably. I think that, I think a lot of it has to do with just the busyness of modern life, the distractions. There's so many things pulling people away, just of daily life. And also just the fact that people don't know that they are served by volunteers. Even in small towns, there are people who don't know that when they call 911, it's going to be their neighbor who shows up. So the lack of awareness is a huge thing.
Now,
two times.
Yeah.
I called 911 in Long Island, and the volunteer fire department ambulance responded. I had my first vertigo attack. I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was having a heart attack or whatever.
Yeah.
And recently,
he falls down his front lawn.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
And recently, my grandson had an uncontrollable bloody nose, and they were there. That was during the day. They were there within minutes.
Yeah.
within minutes. Yeah.
I was going to say in the trailer, the guy says they'll call the fire department for anything, and they really do call the fire department.
Oh yeah,
everything.
You guys have seen it.
They lost.
Yeah,
they lost something in their couch. They're calling the fire department.
All right.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Have you ever thought about doing a documentary on comedy shows at the volunteer fire department?
What the heck? That's my whole project. What are you doing? What are you giving it away for?
Oh, is that your? Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, erase that. Cut, erase that. Jeez. Well, yeah, I was going to talk to them about that after. All right.
okay.
Anyway, guys, thank you for coming on. I can't wait to see you Friday and Sunday. Leave us with what you want to leave us with, a website, whatever.
Yeah.
Or should we show the trailer again? Because we had a lot of problems with that up front.
No, we're not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Check out
There's a film.
oddhoursfilm.com.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, oddhoursfilm.com for all the info on the film. And for the New York screenings, it's at the DCTV theater. So it's dctvny.org for those screenings.
Great.
All right. The last question I'm going to ask you, very important to a firefighter. Am I getting fed? Very important to a firefighter. That could be the breaking. That could be the right.
Yeah. Otherwise,
we're going to pizza afterwards, right?
Yeah, that's right. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. You guys are awesome. It looks great. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance today to do that.
It's all right.
Be well, and we'll see you over the weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Good. Thank you,
All
guys.
right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's go to break, and we'll be back with our comic. She sounds
Linda
familiar.
Marcus Smith.
Linda Marcus Smith. We've heard.
Zwanger Passeri has been delivering a true patient-centric experience for the past 70 years. You can always expect to be cared for with compassion, scanned on the latest technology, and a highly trained subspecialized radiologist to interpret your images.
And we're back. With Laugh to Save Lives Live, Bobby. Come on, Bobby, do one with us. Come on, get over here. Do a Laugh to Save Lives Live, quick.
Laugh to Save Lives Live.
All right.
And there is Bobby.
That's the boss. That is the boss right there.
Guy.
So we're going to bring back our veteran comic, Linda Marcus Smith, to make us laugh. She's back. She's still in the backyard. Well, Helene let you in the house. Did she let you in the house, or you sleeping in the yard?
I'm outside with my T-Mobile.
Oh, wow.
All right.
There you go. T-Mobile.
Oh, she get a little plug.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to us. Tell us what's going on.
So I know I look very young, but I have turned 21 a few times. And I hate to give away my age, but suffice it to say, in order to stay cute and wear flirty little clothes, I have to get my clothes at Forever 21. Because I'm always turning 21. So that's where I
You're Forever 21.
I got it.
And the last time I went there, they said, whoa, you can't, you're too old. And I said, well, it says Forever 21. And they said, yeah, but we didn't know forever was going to last that long.
Great.
I know. I tell people I love messing with really tough New Yorkers. Not you guys. I mean the real tough ones.
Oh,
like
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not tough. We're not
Vinny
tough.
from the block. I love, hey, I'm from the Upper West Side. And he usually says, nah, forget about it. No, you're not. And I go, oh, not the good upper. I'm from the Upper West Side of the U.S. map, Oregon. And he's like, oh, get out of here. So, my parents came over to America from Germany after Hitler's famous downsizing program.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and they lived up in the Jewish Harlem for a year, and then they went to Portland, Oregon. I got so close to being a New Yorker. And I started in Portland, growing up there, way back in the 50s.
Whoa.
And some people don't even know that the 50s ever existed. And I grew up there when it was so quiet and serene in my town that you had to go all the way across town on a really slow trolley just to shop. I mean, shoplift. Gosh, I get those confused.
That's funny.
I did shoplift, and I'm not proud of it.
No.
I'm glad I quit. Did you know that you can clean up more than just your credit karma? You can actually clean up your karma. I quit shoplifting and I went back to the store and apologized, and they go, "Don't worry about it, just don't ever come back." Yeah. Have you ever been told, John or Rich, that you have a doppelganger? You look just like somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've been told that since birth. I have a twin brother.
Oh. That's funny.
Fred lives in Portland and back in my hometown, and he says to me, he's funnier than I am, and I can't get him on stage. And he writes me jokes all day. And one day I get this beautiful golden joke. He says, "You look just like me, Linda, when I, Fred, am dressed up in drag." I'm like, TMI. And why can't people who have TMI get TMJ? I just don't know.
Right.
And I said, "I hope you're not making fun of me, Fred, because I was born 30 minutes before you. You could be my afterbirth."
Oh.
Possible. So, I have a sister. She's older than me, and she has never struggled with anything.
No.
Wait, she finally admitted that she stole a cookie in high school from the snack bar. This is my sister. I was the queen of shoplifting until I gave it up. My sister finally told me when I was 72 years old that she stole a cookie in high school.
Wow, she broke down.
Yeah.
She broke that mold.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even have a T-Mobile phone. I don't know. Can you trust anybody that doesn't use T-Mobile? Anyway, so I'm there in Portland, and I'm growing up, and I enter contests. I'm a contest entry type person growing up. And they had a contest where David Cassidy was coming to town. So I had to enter that contest too. And I just saw on Leave It to Beaver that Wally won president of his class by filling out a 3x5 card. And just his whole pitch was, "Vote for me." So I sent in a 3x5.
Yeah.
And they were going to call the winner at 6 o'clock on Friday night. Sure enough, my phone rang 6 o'clock on Friday night. So what do I do in Portland, Oregon? Because there's nothing else to do. I pick up the phone and I say, "I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win." I was
great.
the winner. And I made it sound like the whole thing was rigged.
That's funny.
Portland, Oregon. Not much to do out there, huh?
No, there's not much in Oregon. So I started doing comedy, and none of the young people in Portland wanted anything to do with me doing comedy. So I would do sit-ups through my entire set.
Right.
And when that got old, I would go dipster dumpster diving for things at stores throughout, and I'd wind up with a belt buckle and a pitcher, a glass water pitcher, all kind of things from Bed Bath and Beyond and Michael's Departments. And I'd bring all these things that I got out of the dipsy dumpster and give them out to the comics at the end of my set. If they listened to I had to bribe them to listen to my comedy.
Oh, yeah. Those open mics are tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
And, I was doing these sit-ups, and it turns out that while I was doing the sit-ups, they just wanted me to do one curl up. Curl up and die already, lady. Don't want.
All right, Linda, let me ask you this. We got about 30 seconds. I know you're in New York right now.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I'm going to be on at Governor's tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. I'm not Governor's. I'm going to be down at Greenwich Village. They both start with a G, like the G bars on your T-Mobile telephone. Another callback.
Do you get commission or?
Yeah, I should get commission. But this is a high point. Being on this is a high point.
Oh, you are too much. Well, thank you again for your service. 3 years of service. That we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Counting money, that's my forte.
Somebody had to do it, Linda.
No, comedy is now.
Yes.
Obviously.
And we'll see
You're
you.
terrific.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
That was
Thank
Linda
you.
Marcus Smith, Army veteran. Comment.
Terrific, isn't she?
Yes, so a good show. You're going to have to watch that film.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. I'll send you the link.
Yes.
And I'm going into the city Friday and Sunday to moderate. I'm going to be asking them questions and a few other people.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be nice. We'll be back next week. We're already booked. We're not used to this. We have a guest already for next week.
What?
She is starting a foundation like the FDNY has in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Amy Morrow. I spoke to her today. She's going to be a great
You
guest
said that
next
right.
week. Yeah, I think. What do you have? You know, her name could be Smith. Could be Linda Mosley Smith. So we will see you next week at Laughter Saves Lives Live. We're going. Where are we going? To the diner.
Going to the diner.
Good night, everybody.
Old leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. Who's chasing the beer that circle the lips? Play ball, play ball. Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall.